Hey everybody, it's Wendy from Fingersticks Gallery again. We're gonna do a pour today that I, of course, have never done. I love doing these to show you what I know, what I don't know. The quality of the audio might not be as great because of my setup here. Normally I do it from above, but this is a huge canvas and so I can't really do that. So we're gonna see what happens. This is a 16 by 20 inch canvas. We're going to do a Dutch pour today. So I have all of these colors. They are my personal mixes because I just mixed them up. Most of them are Apple Barrel, or these two are from Folk Art because they're metallic. So let's just see what we do, or what we can do. I'm going to blow it out with a blow dryer. And again, I've never done this, so I'd like to show you what happens. So I don't exactly have a pattern for this. I've already mixed them up. So this one actually has a little bit of glitter in there. So my mixes are my normal mixes. They're not too thick. They're not too thin. So we'll see. I'm going to start from the inside out. And I think I want the gold. This is a really pretty gold. I also put some of this. I'll show it to you. This extreme glitter holographic, it's actually called hologram glitter paint. It does dry clear, but the hologram is really pretty, especially when you epoxy it. It really makes it sparkle. So we're going to put some of that in two of the colors today. So I'm going to do gold for the very center. Oh, maybe teal. Copper. And then the purple with that holographic. This is just such a pretty thing when it dries. Okay, so if you've never heard of the Dutch pour before, some people do call it a paint bomb. There's a couple different variations with paint bomb. So the most common terminology for this is the Dutch pour. Here what I have is just regular bare house paint. It's acrylic paint. I added my go-to mix, which my pouring medium is 50% Floetrol, 50% Elmer's Glue All. If you do use the Elmer's School Glue, it's a little bit thicker, so I water it down a little bit. Also, it's washable, so be careful if you ever wash your paintings. And with this, it's about 50% paint, 50% pouring medium. I also added just a tiny bit of brown, so when it dries, it'll be more of an off-white color. So the purpose of the Dutch pour is because it actually makes some really cool feathering when you blow it out. You want to have enough paint on your canvas. So the Dutch pour, you just push your base coat over the top of your other colors. That's the part of the Dutch pour that's, I guess, called the Dutch pour. Okay, so I take one of these big tongue depressors, or what I use for stir sticks, and just push it over. And if you've seen my other videos, I was terrified the first time I ever did this because I was so afraid that I just covered up all my paint. What the heck is going to happen? So I'm going to let this set. I already put a little bit of base coat over the whole canvas just so it's the same color. I don't want a whole lot of cells. So as you can see, some of the bubbles are coming up. I'm going to let those kind of go and torch it. This canvas I got at Walmart. They're pretty cheap. They come in a 2-pack. Don't be afraid to do this because you're going to ruin the canvas, because they're so cheap and you can wipe them off if you don't like it. Oops, I just made that worse. So my go-to torch, actually, where's my other one? Here's the other one. This one has the automatic igniter. Get them from Home Depot. They're pretty cheap and has the igniter button and the on. It doesn't have a safety. They're really easy to use. So again, again, for you beginners, if you want to know what the torch does, it pops the bubbles. If you let the painting dry with the bubbles in there, it will make your painting really textured. If that's what you want, great. But typically you don't really want all those. So I went to Walmart and bought a really cheap, I think it was on sale for $9. I've used it once before and it's not the greatest. It doesn't have a lot of push power. So this, I'm just going to push everything out to the sides, so it's going to be a little bit loud. So I apologize. Okay, so if you don't like the splatters, which I'm not a big fan of the splatters, I'll actually fix that. And also on the edges, I couldn't get the hairdryer to blow out all the way on the edges. It's a little bit underpowered, so I have a turkey baster that I normally use for the feathering on the very edge, because it looks like right in here, it just looks like the paint stops, and I don't want that. I want it to be feathery. So excuse my bad hair and my hat, but we were working sheep today, so I'm covering up the bad hairdo. Okay, it's okay if it goes over the edges too. I kind of actually like that. It's a little bit bigger. So yeah, I actually like that a lot better. It gives it just a little less definition on the edges. I might go back a little bit more, but that's all you need to do. Just blow the paint out from the center. Try to center it as much as you can, because you want the center color to be as centered as you can. Mine's not perfect, but again, this is the first time I'm doing this on this big of a canvas. I have also learned that the less paint you pour right in the middle, the better, because if you just dump a whole bunch of paint, you're not going to have a lot of this negative space around the outside, which looks really, really pretty. So I'm going to go around, actually, I'm going to wipe the paint off, and I swear I only had one little piece of paper towel left on my roll. I think my husband snuck in here and took the new roll that I had. In reality, I think I stole it from the kitchen, so we were, honest to goodness, we were probably out. Kind of like that little guy right there. Now, there's no oil in any of these paints. So the bubbles that you're seeing that's coming up, I mixed the paint pretty rough. So there could be some bubbles still in the paint that's just coming up, making those cells. So the bubbles that come up, they pop, and that's why you're seeing some of these cells. And honestly, it's kind of pretty. So I'm gonna absolutely leave some of those there. We just had a triplet sheep last night, which was, or excuse me, yesterday morning, which was pretty darn exciting. One of our ewes, we have Icelandic sheep, and she's such a great mom. She's really friendly. And another sheep that we had 2 lambs the night before, and she had a boy and a girl, and she's a really good mom too. And we just had a family come up this morning and pre-order 2 females for their young daughters to show in 4-H. So we're pretty excited for that. They're really good kids. So they're going to show a couple babies, and in a couple months when they're weaned, they're going to have 2 new baby lambs. So that's kind of exciting. Okay, folks, I'm going to go in for a close-up. Sorry about my hand. So it's a pretty big canvas. Like I said, it's 16 by 20 inches. And hopefully that gold along with the purple on the edges will give it a little bit of that hologram glitter. I don't like to hologram all of my colors because we do have metallics in here, but I'm really hoping this will turn out awesome when it dries. I have a lot of really good luck with the Behr house paint. I mean, it saves you a ton of money in the long run. And again, these are the colors that I used. These two are folk art. The rest are a mix of apple barrel paint, and I just make my own colors. So anyway, have a great time. Happy painting, and don't ever be afraid to be a beginner. As you see, I am, and it worked out pretty well. And that's my dog barking in the background, and I think he says happy trails too. Till next time, bye-bye.